When I went for my master's in the US, I remember as soon as I landed at the airport, it was around 7 p.m. I had four huge bags that I was carrying with me. They were really, really heavy. And the first thing that I struggled with right at the airport was that I was not able to get a cab because my cards, my Indian cards, were simply not working with Uber. For some reason, the cash option was just not working. I did have some US dollars with me in terms of cash, but the cash option was probably not allowed because I was just there, for the first time. I'm not quite sure why. And with the cards not working at all, it was really, really difficult for me to get from the airport to my college. And of course, it was getting late, so it was kind of stressful. All of that could have been avoided actually. Finally, somehow I was able to ask my friend, and later on my Indian card worked for some reason. I do not know. I had to enable some options, etc., etc. But it worked, but I had to pay extremely high currency conversion charges on that. And that they didn't just show up on the next day, they showed up 1 month later, by the way. So I wasn't really aware that was going to happen. On top of that, the housing, the living expenses, until I was able to set up my US bank account and transfer money from India to that account, I was still continuing to pay these conversion charges, which were actually pretty hefty, by the way. For today's video, I'd like to thank our sponsor Zolve, because this is the exact problem that they can solve for you. No matter who you are, whether you're a student or a working professional, this will help you in both the cases. So let me just first off highlight what are the general problems that you face if you go to the US for the first time as a student, or even as a working professional. If you're there, you've been working for a while, some of these general problems are faced by all of you guys. Number one is that you do not have any credit history in the country. Even though you may be very well off financially, or you may have a very good financial track record in your country, that doesn't hold any significance in the US. So you're not eligible for a lot of low interest rate loans, big ticket purchases, and insurances as well. The problem is that your domestic credit history is actually invalid in the USA. On top of that, Forex cards are costly and they have a limit to which you can use them. So carrying cash is hard, and on top of that, the US government has a lot of flight requirements that you cannot carry more than this amount of cash, etc., etc. So you're going to be stuck up with that as well. And finally, if you were thinking that, oh, I'm going to go ahead get my US bank account, that can be really time taking in some cases, and then transferring money from your country to that bank account, it can be a hassle in a lot of cases, and it may take a couple of weeks. So if you really think about it, all of these issues, not having a bank account, etc., etc., your issues can actually be solved by just having a credit card on you that you can start using from the moment you land in the United States. Your credit history, which is, by the way, often a major requirement by these credit card companies, is not going to be a problem because Zolve has managed to solve that for you. So how is Zolve actually solving these problems for you? Let's talk about that briefly. You can actually go ahead and apply for a Zolve US account and credit card right here from your country. You don't even need to be in the United States to apply for that. All of that can be done completely online, and your card is activated as soon as you land in the United States. Some of the advantages, of course, are that working professionals and students can both apply, so it doesn't just apply to students, by the way. On top of that, you start building your credit history from day one, because the moment you start transacting through that card, that actually starts adding to your US credit history. Finally, it takes about 5 minutes to apply online, which is of course a major advantage over here. I mean, if I could actually go back in time in 2019, get a Zolve account at that point of time, it would have saved me a lot of hassle actually. Now, let's briefly talk about the bank account features that you will be getting over here. Number one, there is absolutely no application fee, which is, by the way, very great. Next, there's no minimum balance requirement. That means that you can actually spend wherever you want, you can buy whatever you want without actually worrying about not maintaining your minimum balance. This is actually a huge pro as compared to what the US banks are offering at this moment today. Next, this account is actually FDIC insured up to $250,000 through the partner bank, of course. So what that essentially means is that your money is protected and you don't really need to worry about it even in the case of a bank failure. Of course, this comes with free ATM withdrawals at any MoneyPass ATMs. On top of that, for your financing needs, there's a 24/7 in-app chat available, which you can leverage to get in touch whenever you are facing any issues. And trust me, you do face issues, when it comes to banking, etc. From no matter where you go, you have to have that level of support. Also, Zolve offers quick, easy and cost-effective money transfers to and fro from your country and the US, which is a necessity in a foreign country nowadays. Of course, with the bank account, I also mentioned that you get a credit card, right? So let's talk about the features of that. Now, one of the things that I love about the Zolve credit card is that it comes with no social security requirement. That means you do not need to have an SSN number yet. For those of you who do not know what a social security number or an SSN is, it's actually a unique number to you guys, which you get, by the way, once you start working a job in the US. If you're landing in the US on the first day and you need a credit card, of course, you're not going to have a job at that point of time, right? That means you're not going to have a social security number. So this is actually a really great alternative at that point of time. Again, of course, I already mentioned your credit history starts to build from day one. That's another major pro, by the way, if you guys are thinking of staying in the US for the long term. On top of that, there's no annual fee, no foreign transaction fee, and no application fee when you apply for this card. And one of the really great things that I know about this card is that when you get the card through Zolve, the limits are actually really generous because, guys, I mean, your monthly expenses are not going to be this high, but they're giving about $5,000 to students and $10,000 as the credit limit to working professionals. And even $10,000, people don't have that as basically their salary a lot of times. That having more money, almost doubling your salary, and you basically have the credit. So just in case you have the major emergency or something like that happening around you and you really need money, this actually is a really generous limit. And you've got to have these limits from time to time. I wouldn't say exhaust the limit. I would say try to spend about 33%. Don't go overboard with this every month. But yes, in extreme cases, even if you want to spend 80-90%, you can do that. And as long as you're paying it on time, your credit history is golden. And by the way, this card comes with a 0% APR for the first 15 months. This is just an introductory offer, so I do not know how long this will be valid. You want to take advantage of this? Go ahead, sign up today. And they have a wide variety of cashback and rewards from some of the most popular brands out there. I mean, look at this. They've got Adidas, they've got H&M, they've got Walmart, Costco. I mean, these are places that you would be going to consistently, and they have a lot more, by the way. You can actually take a look at this. They have about 10,000 of these brands. So you can basically go ahead and select 5 brands that you absolutely love, and you'll be transacting with them a lot, and you'll get 5% cashback on them. And for all the others, you get 1% cashback. Overall, you're still saving money on every transaction that you do through this card, which of course, I don't even need to tell you guys, money is going to be important when you're in the US. You're short on that, and of course, the little amount you have, you want to save it any way possible. Finally, this card comes with MasterCard ID theft protection. It also comes with zero liability fraud protection from MasterCard again. And just in case you're worried that your card may be lost, you can actually freeze the card directly from the application, which makes these cards highly secure. So if you are interested in Zolve, how do you actually apply for one of these accounts? First off, you can apply from your home, or wherever you are in India, US, whichever country you're in, you should try to apply from there itself first off. Secondly, all you have to do is you have to go ahead and download the application or log into their website. Next, you upload some of your documents like your passport, your visa, and your I-20 or offer letter, depending on whether you're a working professional or student, etc, etc. And once you're done with that, you can activate your account as soon as you step in the US. And by the way, who can really apply for these? Well, if you're a student who's going for fall 22 or a working professional, or basically any of these people who is going to be in the US in the next 3 to 6 months, you should consider applying now. Students who previously went for terms like fall 21 can also still apply, by the way. And by the way, if that's not enough for you, you can actually check the link in the description. I have included a special link which will get you a $15 bonus on your first transaction that you make using this card. I hope that this video helps, and I hope that this helps save you from some of the troubles that I faced in my journey to the United States as an international student for the first time. And even if you're a working professional or you're on your OPT, etc, etc, I think that this has advantages, and you should take those advantages while they last. I hope to see you in the next one. Goodbye and take care for now.